Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go through the second 12 beers of the Kalea Brewer's Advent Calendar for 2021. If you missed it, go back and check out the first 12 recap, and you'll see what we had in the first 12 beers of the calendar. So, let me go to my phone here. Beer 13 was the Land Gang Pils. This was a Pilsner, obviously. I found this beer to be hoppy and with a slight honey flavor, and it was really good. I gave it a 3.75 out of 5 on the Untapped scale. And this was another repeat. In the first 12 beers, we only had 2 repeats from 2020, and this is a repeat from 2020 in the second 12. But still, it's a really good beer. I'd actually like to find some more of that here in Alaska. Beer 14 was the Flotzinger Hell. This was a Helles style, as by the name. I found this beer to be really clean and sweet with a slight yeasty flavor. But I gave it a 3 out of 5 out of 5. And yeah, another good Helles style beer. This beer was also a repeat from 2020. So starting off the bat, we've got 2 repeats right away. Moving on to beer 15, the Perlenzauber IPA. It was listed as an IPA, but it wasn't bitter at all. This is not like an American style IPA, that's for sure. It was smooth and hoppy, and it was really good. I gave it a 4 out of 5 on the Untapped scale, and this one was also a repeat. So starting off with 3 repeats in the second half of the calendar, which is fine. We'll move on to beer 16. This is the Blauweiss. It's a wheat beer. It was smooth and yeasty with that, most Weiss beers have that yeasty flavor to them. But it was really good as well. I give that a 4 out of 5. And this one was not a repeat from 2020. Still pretty good. Moving on, beer 17. The Turboprop Imperial Pilsner. Now you think Imperial, and let's see, yeah, 6.5%. So not super strong, but this one was malty and hoppy, and it was pretty good. Although this was a repeat from 2020, which is fine. Give that one a 3.25 out of 5. It's just a little off, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't know. Beer 18 is the Earl Hell. This is a Helles. Very clean, very smooth, and very balanced flavor to it. Typical Helles, and you could, go fishing on a hot summer day. You could drink a ton of those. That was a repeat again from 2020, and I ranked that a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 on the Untapped scale. Beer 19 is the Zwanitzer Rauch beer. And a Rauch beer is a smoked beer. They smoke the malt before they brew the beer. And I found this, I've never had a smoked beer before, and I found this to be really delicious. I gave this a 4 out of 5. It was smoky, it was sweet, without being too malty, and it was very smooth. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. That was a very good one. Beer 20 was the Graminger Kurta Wheat Dunkel. It was malty and a little yeasty, but very smooth. And this was another repeat from 2020. And I ranked this a 3.25 out of 5. Pretty good. Being a Dunkel, I personally, I wouldn't want to drink more than 3 or 4. They're just malty and sweet. Moving on to the Whitman Earl Hell Beer 21. This was a Helles. It was another repeat from 2020. And smooth and sweet with a kind of a light mouthfeel and flavor to it. I give it a 3.75 out of 5. It was pretty good. That's another warm sunny day beer for sure. Beer 22 is the Schlossbari Reader original Pils. This is a Pilsner, Pils style. And I'm sure I slaughtered the German on that. This was sweet and smooth, a little hoppy and very light. This is another good summertime beer. So 3.75 out of 5 is the rank I gave it on the Untapped scale. And yeah, that's a good. I liked seeing that in the calendar. Another new beer to me. Beer 23 is the First Carl Keller beer, and a Keller beer is a cellar beer. They were unfiltered, and it's very good, very smooth, lightly sweet, and you can see it's cloudy due to not being filtered. This was a repeat from 2020, and I give that a 3.5 out of 5. I'd even bump it up to 3.75 out of 5. Not too bad. And then the last final beer for 2021 was the Karthauser Doppelbock Dunkel. This is a Bock. Smooth, rich, malty, and sweet. And yeah, a couple of these might be your limit. The 7.5% ABV is not the issue. It's the maltiness, the sweetness that for me, I wouldn't want to have more than 3 or 4 of them in a row. But pretty good. I gave it a 4 out of 5, and yeah, it's one of the higher ranking ones. So to recap, the second 12 beers, 8 of the 12 beers were repeats from 2020. I would have liked to have seen a few more. I mean, there's a million beers in Germany. I would have liked to have seen a few less repeats, or maybe even no repeats. But that's okay. I'm sure Kalea, whoever they contract with for the beers, they're probably limited to the number of breweries, which is fine. In the first 12 beers, there was only 2 repeats from 2020. So that got me thinking maybe there wasn't going to be a whole lot of repeats, but it ended up being 10 out of 24 overall. So not quite half, but that's okay. Now this is the second year I've gotten the Kalea Brewers Advent Calendar, and each time I'm paying Alaska prices. Each time it's about $98 to $100 for the beers, and you got to ask yourself, is that worth it? That's fairly expensive. I would say yes. It's worth it to me, just for the fact that I might not make it to Germany and sample any of these beers, or I live in a small town and our selection here is limited. So being able to get beers from a different part of the world and in my little town is pretty cool. So yeah, I'd like it. I'd like to see less repeats from year to year. But I mean, if I see the 2022 next year, I'm definitely going to pick it up and go see what they got. So anyway, that wraps it up. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got out and were able to sample some new beers this year. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.